Modern Aikido, a couple things that mark it. One, it's very linear and very two-dimensional. What we want is more, I say the spiraling, rotating cross. So you gotta take this shape and it has to start spinning on at least two planes. But then that spinning cross has to now travel on a spiral across the sagittal plane. This is where that X pattern comes in. So as I draw like a corkscrew roller coaster, you have to imagine that shape on the trajectory of the spiral that I just drew, but it is doing this itself, okay? So it's going through space doing this spinning. As it's doing that, a linear line is cut across an inertial line that is never traced. I never trace it. It's an inertial line that happens through the middle. We're going this way on the sagittal plane while we're spinning and spiral rotating. So I'll establish an inertial line, and across the inertial line, I draw, or I do through Irimi Ashi, another vector of force, Irimi Ashi. And that's the X pattern. As we've said many times, that sends the top and bottom of the person's posture, usually the head and the feet, in opposite directions from the center or the top of the line of gravity in a third direction. Now there is no chance that they can remain standing. You've done a throw or a pin, okay? That's what we try to do. That makes the ukemi extremely difficult, especially for modern Aikidoka who are only used to this two-dimensional Aikido, and I'll explain that. The first reason why it makes it extremely difficult is that the uke finally experiences a total lack of control of their body mass. And so it may be for the first time in their lives that they're actually thrown. That generates a huge amount of fear, because one of our greatest fears is the loss of control. We always want to know what we're doing, why we're doing it, where it's going to lead us to. We want to know the weather. We want to know what the future is. I want to understand if this is worth it or not. All these kind of things. Our entirety of our life is built around the illusion of control, because the egoic mind is seeking power over the most difficult aspect of God, which is thou shalt not know. And for that reason, your modern uke who's just doing exercise just can't take this ukemi, okay? You add to that the fact that we're often not training that much, so we're not that strong, or we're not that supple, or we're not that mobile, and just we don't have the physicality for that kind of throw in any way that we can endure it over a long duration of time with multiple consecutive reps. It's very difficult. Inversely, what Aikido does instead, let's just stick with the forward roll, is they simply accelerate the uke. The uke is running this way. They will accelerate the uke. The uke's body's here. The uke is brought forward and then lowered the head. The head is lowered in some fashion such that this shape ends up in this shape. Okay? The uke then, under this shape, ceases to try to put their feet back underneath their head and thereby realigning their line of gravity under or within their base of support so they don't have to fall. Several things do this. One, choreography. If I tilt and lower your head, that's your cue to do a forward roll. You pay attention, something else happens at the higher levels. Is the uke will always leave their feet there. And more importantly, will often put their feet there. I'll try to find videos where you see very, very highly skilled uke in the modern sense of the word, with very highly ranked nage, and the uke will put their foot back there to generate this angle. This is exactly the opposite of what a person who does not want to be thrown will do. A person who does not want to be thrown, when leaned, will always put their feet back underneath their line of gravity. And this is one reason why Aikido trades the illusion of control for the sake of that egoic fear. And in doing so, they can't address a martial context because the martial context is marked by its unknowability. It just won't function. What I say to do is you got to get off of this idea that I accelerate my uke and that they're going to do a forward roll. One, you're just practicing fear and control, which is just going to lead to a separation from God and an idolatry of self, and the greatest sin, you replace yourself with God because you're going to know. You cannot know. However, as you will probably not have uke that can do the X pattern, you have to at least be aware of when you're no longer throwing, for what I say, throwing from control. I am in control of the uke's body. You are now throwing from transaction, which means if they do a forward roll and I'm doing this acceleration, not the X pattern, they did the forward roll because they entered into a transaction with me. I won't X pattern your ass. I'll accelerate your ass. And you will participate in it by leaving your feet there. Okay? Some people need to train at that level. The uncommitted, the old, the out of shape, the ones who can't get over any semblance of fear. And just train there. Okay? So I don't know where your uke are, but you have to keep all that in mind. Okay? I'm going to show you the technique from the point of view of the X pattern. Right now you're doing the acceleration throw. Okay? I want to throw from control, not from transaction. Certain things have to be done differently in order to make that other shape happen and to have that X itself spinning on it. to establish that inertial line that I'm eventually going to cut through Irimi Ashi, some third force line through there, so that these three things that make up posture, the two distal ends and the center, go in different directions. Okay, we'll focus in on just a couple. One is we'll do the handwork, and then I'll show you where the Irimi Ashi is, and you'll see that it's going to come back to this overall strategy. Am I simply accelerating uke, or am I doing the next pattern and throwing from control versus transaction? Okay, that's where we'll go now. So we have, we have lots of videos on this technique, so I'm not going to show everything, a bunch of detail. Again, I want to just focus on the handwork and how to throw from control. Okay, but this is a counter rotation. So normally we would come in something like this, okay, and do whatever. So he's going around that way and I go around that way. Okay. This one is a counter rotation where I'm going the opposite way of him. Okay. I don't turn where he's turning. And it's important to note that because that counter rotation, for example, going back to the video with Ronin where I first showed what is a martial application of Aikido, is as I start spiral rotating the fight and he tries to cut me off, then I'll counter rotate. You do that a lot, okay? And really that's where this shows up. If you don't rotate the fight, you'll never see Tenkan and you'll never see counter rotation. It's absolutely never going to show up in your martial situation, okay? So for example, you'll have a lot of boxers and they never counter rotate, or I'm sorry, they never counter rotate because they never rotate. You'll have those fighters who will rotate and you will see Tenkan in boxing. Because people don't recognize it, but it is in there, okay? They're counter rotating when you see that kind of stuff, okay? So that's why it makes no sense that this kind of stuff, you know, he comes around, you see it, I'm here, and he walks around me, and then I throw. I have to start a counter rotation. So the counter rotation is I'm going this way, and then he came around, and I came the other way. That has to be in there, okay? Resist the temptation that I'm here, and goes here, and then I accelerate it that way. Okay? Another quick thing here is it is a legitimate attack. It is a legitimate attack. See, to get the arm, and you have this throw here. Okay? It is very, very powerful. When done full speed, you don't need anything fancy. You just grab the wrist and pull them backwards. There's only been one time where I threw Ronin onto his head, and it's on that technique. And if you want to see it, it's in one of the annual compilations. We have 2 of those videos. I don't know which one, but it's the one time I freaking dropped him on his head. Okay, it's extremely powerful. And it's a good one for your bag of tricks where you don't need anything fancy. Okay, and that's what's kind of going on here, sorta. Okay, all right. So we also know the third thing that we only have 2 handshakes. That's all I have. I don't have this one. I never have this one. Okay. I don't have this one either. A lot of people in the Federation will understand, like, if I leave my skeletal alignment, then I feel very strong. You see? Very strong when I do that. So you'll see people will do that kind of stuff. Well, strong, never give him the advantage. Okay? Or they'll seek a lot of, even he grabs, right, and you go, they do this kind of stuff, you see. So he's really holding me, and they'll move their center, you see, and they hit these very small elbows, but the fight stops, so that's just retarded, okay? And because it's just a leverage technique, if someone's strong enough, you're not going to get the leverage. It's just not going to happen, okay? And those aren't our shapes. You can't use those shapes. They don't do anything for my energetics. And so they don't do anything for my deconstruction of the egoic mind. So when he comes around, you have to find, where is she? Because we don't film the teacher's back. You have to find the inward spiral. Okay, he comes in, and I'm doing Irimi Nage, okay? But I have to do it in a way that I'm not contesting his energy. So as his energy goes down, I can turn to keep that neutral. Okay, we'll do it again. You know we're going to turn this way. Camera, stay there. Oh, one, I move, keep it neutral. Okay, do it one more time. So I have to rotate, and that starts the counter rotation. Okay, and then here is that opening that you would use the counter rotation for. Stay there, please. Just move your arm out of the way. Here's where you move to do all those kind of maneuvers, okay? So, don't come back at the diagonal. There's no rotation there, and you can see I'm not on that angle. My body rotates, and there's that angle right there, okay? Do the other side. Body rotates, that's the angle I want. I'm just looking at this part here and the footwork. So because I rotate, I can counter rotate. Rotate and I can counter rotate. Rotate and I can counter rotate. Boom, boom. Now watch my hips and you'll see what I mean. Hips turn, hips turn. Hips turn, hips turn. Turn, turn. Okay, so I'll get how we get the arm over. I was doing it, but not all the way. Okay, let's try that. All right, so my hand, this hand here, is going to go into the inward spiral, and then I turn as it's continuing its inward spiral. So my hand doesn't go back, up. Right here, this is the outer deltoid, and I can't lift him, okay? But you always see that in Aikido because people go like that, okay? But he's way stronger than me, so my hand can't go like this. It's like, no way, cannot do it, okay? This spiral turns, boom, turns. And as it turns, I move into the yin space. Let's look at some of the things it does different on his arm. So even if I was strong enough, his wrist, elbow, and shoulder are in alignment, okay? We'll do it one more time. I don't know if the camera caught that, okay? So we're here. Even though I was strong enough, we're in alignment. And then if I was strong enough, there we go, okay? Watch his wrist will slow down so you can see. Comes around. I'm already getting his elbow out of that alignment, you see? So here, for example, if I don't move, there's your sumiyotoshi right there. Boom, boom. And now what I'm doing is throwing the elbow over. Boom. On the other one, if I was strong, I'm pulling, and then they accelerate themselves. Here, boom. I'm throwing that elbow over, okay? Trade cameras. This also makes the elbow, so when I'm here like this, she's shorter than me, and when I have my arm straight here and I bring this up, I gotta bring this way up there, do you see? And a lot of people let go there when they're shorter. But what I'm going to do is bring her elbow up, do you see? Her elbow's coming up, and that gives me my opening to back out this way. And because I'm throwing her, I can pick her up over that. I pick her up, not them reaching up over me. Okay? Of course, you have to adapt. You can just change your height. There's going to be a ceiling, in other words, to how much you can get away with. But having the elbow up here, as opposed to the arm out, you got to go way high to get that elbow higher than your head. Okay? The ceiling is much lower as you're doing it that way. Okay? So we're now add that to it. Yeah. Yep. No need to extend your arm. Just keep the elbow where it is. Turn. Better. Okay, so he's lifting it up, which is the most common thing. Okay, so you moved your spiral ahead of your body. Your body turns, the spiral turns. So that same thing there. So your elbow gets behind you. Better. Again, keep going. Keep going till we get it. Better, there you go. Better, that's it. A lot of people, because they have just leverage system, or which is good, or if it's inferior to the uke, they will never give them anything, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, so they come around like this, and they stay in front, and he grabs my arm out there. Okay, now the technique doesn't make any sense because he's attacking my wrist and not me. Okay. So you don't do that. You have to bait him on the other hand. You have to bait him, and then you do the same inward spiral, okay, to get control of it. So I'm going to take the footwork out just enough, but you bait him, and those are this, not this. Not that either. Two spirals. If we now look at the first one again, sit down please. On the first one, you get the sumyotosh here, and that's what you're going to find here too. Boom, it's right there. Sumyotosh, sumyotosh. Sumyotosh, sumyotosh. Different. You out in front. Different. Sort of it, but not. Okay, timing, boom, boom. Okay, let's try. We're gonna look at the second spiral. Not the first hand, this one. Yes, you have to not start spiral so you can spiral him. Give him that hand, spiral that hand. So not quite. Don't turn your wrist, it's just like Irimi Nage. You went over the head that time. Keep going. Don't lift up over your head. turn the spiral. That's better. And then we prematurely spiraled the other hand. Let him touch it. So prematurely spiral. So I'll show you what I mean. Oh, this is my final position, but I don't just have it. So I don't go here and here. Again, you watch, you see I'm outward spiral. He cuts down, inward spiral. We're gonna watch the second hand now on that same thing. So I'm in the outward spiral position, which means the elbow is in, you see? And now that he grabs it, that's when I take it and find the sumiyo push on the elbow. What you're doing is you're coming here, you see? And he's doing it to him, okay? So I blend, boom, boom, boom. Boom, turns with him, boom, turns with him. You want him to grab it. Boom, you're baiting him. Boom. Okay? Try it a little more. You gotta spiral him on that second arm. No, it's already spiraled. Keep going. You're lifting that hand up. Okay, so I would be coming in. Guard your face. Okay? And then I take this block. You see? And I'm going to pull your center back. You feel it? Boom. There's the throw. Okay? So we go slow. There was a downward energy, clearly. Okay? So I come around. There's that energy there. You see? Pick your arm up. You see? You can't pick it up. What you have to do instead is turn it. Go back. Watch this now. Okay? So you know there was a downward, right? You feel it right there. And watch as I take the next step. Stay still. As I take the next step, you're going to feel more downward. You see? There's more downward, right? And that's where everyone tries to lift, which is crazy. Okay? Now watch. Put your other foot forward. Now watch the next thing. There's also an inwardness to this energy. It's going down, right? It's going in too. You see that? Okay? And as I take that next step, it goes in too. You see that? It won't come out until I take my tenkan. On that inward energy is where you pass it. Okay, so I'm going to help you. Put your hand up, guard your face. Okay? Don't fight it. Don't try to take me yet. Wait for the inward energy. There it is. Now it goes around. See that? And you go, don't overbend your elbow. Stay there, please. This is what you're picturing. See? And don't throw me like this. See that? Don't overbend your elbow. Okay? So we're just here. And when you feel that, that's what you want. You take it around you, you go under it. That's what you do. Okay? Not gonna get up. Take it. I'm gonna go down, and I'm going in. That's where you take it around you. Better. Now we'll do the second hand. Let's stick on that side, please. The second hand. Let me get it. You see? It feels like it's on your back to you, but not if you do the inward spirals. If you try to extend it, yes, it's on your back, okay? But you're going to turn because that's what that hand is doing. Don't overbend that elbow. Do you see that? And now it's not on your back. Got it? So go back. Bait me. I would be here. And as you feel me, you would feel that push. And that's what you want. More action here though. You're just doing this. Okay? The elbow and the wrist travel around each other. Not like this. Look at my elbow. Look at my thumb. Okay? Not like this. Okay? Alright, try some more. Alright, we want to look more closely at the two sumio twushes. Okay? So this wrist is here, not here. It's here. You take the slack out. And then when you take the slack out, now the elbow is going to articulate less. So another reason why you don't go like this. You're going to take the slack out of the wrist, and now you're going to drive the palm, which drives the elbow. And you do that with the two hands. So you go really slow. Same thing on the bottom hand. Boom. You have to get the wrist to run out of its articulation. Boom. Boom. Okay, stay. Best you can. So now you're throwing that elbow down and this elbow this way like an ikkyo, and this one like actual sumio tush. Okay? This one is going to be like there's a force there through the wrist, and this one like there's a force on the inside there like that. That's what you want to feel his center through. Boom, boom. Okay, so we're going to just do that handwork. Boom, boom. And then leave the Irimi, Ashi, the X pattern out. What? It's very different where I've been, where I just accelerate now, okay? So I'm trying to not do my footwork on here. Boom, drive that down. The elbows. Boom. Should end up here and not here with your palm wrist. Forget my stance. Okay. Not here. Not here. Okay? Let's try. No. Try it again. So get his wrist to bend by doing, so you're extending your hands away down towards the ground. Okay, because you smell the leverage, but you don't want to do that. You want his wrist to throw his elbows. So you want to go down like that, okay? So I know I can't throw you, but let me at least let you feel what I'm talking about, okay? We'll just do one hand, okay? One hand, all right? So when I come like this, I don't want to go here. So you feel it in your fingers. You see that? So lift up so you feel the counter energy. You see? That's a way of doing it. Got it? Okay. I don't want to turn you here and spear through your grip this way. You see? So lift up so you feel that. That's not what I'm doing either. Okay? What I'm going to do is turn your wrist. Do you see that? Okay? And I keep turning until, so what I'm doing is this. Do you see? Come back because you countered it. Okay? I'm doing lifting here. Do you see that? I'm not trying to do what ended up happening there. I'm lifting this hand like that. Okay? So when you're there, okay, you gotta do that. Are you attacking the wrist? That gets your elbow. Okay, so here we go. You see what I mean? On fingers. Spear through your grip. It's just you holding on. This one is light. Boom, boom this way. Okay? Okay. Okay, so going to set up the Irimi, okay? So we know that there's energy going here. And if we watch his final attack, there, see? See? His opening is right here. Okay. So, you gotta not make the mistake that you're trying to do like a Ura version where you come into the back, because we're not. We're in the front. We're gonna attack the front. We're gonna do a mote, okay? So as he comes around, you have to watch your Irimi because you missed it. You see? You want him to end boom right there. Okay? So what am I doing? I took the arms out a little bit. But we'll just get to that last point. Okay? You're doing, that's where the X is. Okay? So you have two possibilities, which gives you your spectrum for the Irimi. One, I can take out the dominant leg, or two, I can project this leg, okay, into that angle there. Usually when you go fast, that's the leg you hit. You can't hit the front leg. But when you go slow, you can hit the front leg, okay? So as he's coming around, I'm timing it. Okay, so we'll come up, roll your hakum up a little bit. And he's in that last stance. And here's what I'm doing. I'm going, so there's no arm movement. You could even be up a little. Okay. I'm going through here. Okay. Now you'll add the arm movement. You'll have this. Do you see? That's all I need. Okay. And so he's there. You can hold on to me with the other hand if you want. He's there with the elbows going down and his base is going out the other way. That's what you're doing. Okay? Boom. There it is right there. Couple things you'll notice here. He's not way out in front of me, and I'm not on the side of him. You're going to see that as this hand does the spiral, his head comes in. You see? This hand helps his head come in. That's what generates, very much like any other of our X pattern throws. So here's Kaite and Nage, which we showed recently. His head comes in, and on the same line that I'm entering on today with my actual feet, okay? So, boom, I throw his elbows, take his his base out. Boom, let him calm. There it is right there. It's very compact and tight. Okay? Okay? All right. Try it. Okay, so over, out. You went too far out. Far out. You're backing out too far. This technique, all what I said before was to show you the concepts, but then I gave you can't back all that way out because we're not doing ura. Okay? You have to time all your handwork so that he lands on that omote hip. Okay? A little better. Better. There you go. Better. Okay, and you can see she doesn't have to overextend. We're not really accelerating him. When you go fast, the throw's over instantaneously. Okay?